Alright, hey guys, welcome to the video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a realistic floating glass orb in one of your pictures using Photoshop CC 2019. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is obviously get a picture. And when you do have that picture, you want to come up here and go to image size, and that popped up on my other screen, and make sure it is set at 1920 by 1080, so all of our effects will essentially be the same or comparable anyway. The next thing you're going to want to go to do is you're going to want to come up here to view and make sure both rulers and snap are checked. So I'm going to go check rulers, and snap is already checked. And then you're going to come up here, just anywhere on this bar, just click on it and drag it down to around the middle, and it should snap right into place, and that will be the exact middle. And you're going to want to do that with the vertical one too, and I missed. There you go. So that is our middle of our photo right there. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come up to here to your rectangular marquee tool, and you're going to come here, and then you're just going to drag all the way out to the edges. If you hold you're going to have to hold Shift and Alt, and that will make it a perfect square, and the Alt will make it come out from the center instead of coming from your starting point. And then you're going to want to release, and that will drop a square, a perfect square, onto your photo. And then you're going to want to go Control J, and then you're going to copy and paste that, or duplicate that, into a new layer. So you're going to go in here and duplicate layer, and then you're going to come down here and go new, and we can just call it square. So then you can come up here, go to image and trim it, and you can make sure transparent pixels is ticked, and make sure all of these are ticked, and you can go OK. Now for the fun part, when we actually make it into a ball, you're going to come up here and go to filter, distort, and spherize. You're going to make sure it's at 100%, and you're going to do it twice. So you're going to do it once, then you can come back up to filter, and then you can just come up to the top here and click spherize again. Now if you feel like that's not enough, you can go in and do it a third time, or similarly do it here to like 50%, like that. But I think it was enough before, so I'm going to leave it. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to drag down your guidelines again to the center. And this time you're going to take your elliptical marquee tool from the center, and you're going to just come out to the corner, and it should pop up pink like that. And then you can release. And then just to make sure that you do have that just on the circle, because if you have it not on the circle, like see there, it's kind of off the circle a little bit. If you don't have it completely on the circle, then it'll look weird on your final image. So what you're going to do to fix that is you're going to come into Select, Modify, and Contract. And then you're going to contract it by, say, 3 pixels. So it doesn't make much of a difference how much you do it. See, there we go. It is inside of our circle now. Now what you're going to want to do is come up here to your Move tool, and you're just going to simply drag this into our first image. And if you hold Shift, it should pop directly into the center. We can get rid of these guidelines here by doing Control H also, by the way, because we don't need those anymore. Now what we're going to want to do is you're going to come back to this, and you're going to go Control T, and that'll bring up your free transform, and you're going to hold Alt, and then you can resize it how you feel you want it to look, and you can nudge it up and down with your arrow keys also. And if you hold Shift, it'll go quicker. I'd say about there, looks good. Then you're going to come over here, and you're going to double click on layer 2, which is your sphere, and then you're going to come down here to inner glow. So you're going to make sure you set your opacity to 100%. You're going to make sure this is at white. See, here you go. And make sure it's set to edge. Your size, you're going to want to set that to about 60, I think that's about right. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to control click on your sphere layer, which is layer 2 for us. And then you're going to want to click on the layer mask one, so it'll bring up a layer mask on your sphere. And then you can come over here and get your brush. And then you got to make this black on your brush. See, right now it's a white brush. And what you want to do is you can either push X, or you can click on this little arrow here, and that'll invert your colors. You're going to want to make your brush about this big. Your sizes will probably vary, but about that big, you know, maybe bigger. Not quite that big, about this big. Make sure your opacity is also at 100%. So you're just going to want to click once. There we go. I might be a little bit high, actually. Not directly in the center, but up just a little ways into the left. Oh, one key thing I forgot to mention, you guys. Make sure this one is set to overlay and not screen like it was before. There, that looks much better. I knew it looked weird. Then you can come down here to your adjustment layers and you can click on black and white. And you gotta click on this little icon here. That'll make it so it just affects the orb. And then you come down here and you click maximum black. Then you can come down here and you click on your opacity and you can set that to around about 30% ish, 20, 25, 30%, whatever works for you. Then you can come down here and click on your adjustment layer icon once again, and you're going to come up to the curves box this time. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to, then you want to come up here and you're going to click on this little icon and you can clip it to your orb again. And then what you're going to want to do is come right here to about your midtones, and you just drag it down just a little bit, just ever so slightly. So now that you're basically all done with our glass orb, now you're going to want to come here and make a new layer on top of everything else. And then you are just going to come down here and control click on your orb. And then you can go select, transform selection, unlike this, and go to about 8%. Then if you hold shift while you drag it down, you can then drag it down there to wherever you feel like it looks like it should go. And then when you're done, you can hit the check mark button. I don't know what that's called. Then you're going to come up here to your selection and you're going to go to modify and feather. And you're going to feather it by about 20 to 25 pixels. So that's going to give you the nice gradient effect. Then you can go ahead and click this little arrow here to switch your color so your black is in your background. And then you can just go control delete and that should fill it with your background color. And then finally you can adjust this opacity. I'm going to set it to about 75%. But it's up to you. And there you go. You now have a neat hovering glass orb in any of your pictures and you know how to do it. Come back next week where we can teach you, I don't know, what should I teach you? And subscribe and stay tuned. But I'll see you next time. And then once you have this selection here, you can hold Alt and Shift. And then you can take it down to, oh jeez.